All right, so for this project, the materials that I'm going to be using are a piece of just lightweight computer paper, the white paper, a pencil, and crayons. In the end, I did use a little marker for a border. We're going to be doing a crayon transfer drawing. So actually, you're going to be coloring an entire paper with crayon first, using this striped pattern. I did a rainbow pattern. You can do a different type of pattern if you'd like. And then you're going to be putting a paper on top of that crayon drawing that you just did, all that filled in sheet of paper with color. And you're going to draw on top with your pencil. When you draw on top of here, I'll add a little tree here. The drawing gets transferred to the paper from the crayon. Okay, so to get started, you're going to use a piece of computer paper, and I just want half of it because that's a lot of coloring. So I'm going to go with half a piece of paper. So to get half a piece of paper, I'm going to fold it in half. One half will be used for my crayon. One half will be used for my drawing that eventually will have the colorful transfer on this side. If you have a pair of scissors, you can just cut along that crease. If you don't have a pair of scissors handy, then you can do the little trick where we kind of fold it back and forth a few times and weaken it, and then you can tear it apart. Okay. There we go, got the rip started. I'm going to carefully pull this side. This hand's pushing down the paper. This hand is pulling it off so they can separate. Okay, I'm going to put this one aside to do my drawing on later. And now I'm going to add my color. I'm going to put a piece of paper underneath because I have to color off the edges of my paper and I don't want to make a mess on my placemat or on my table. I have my colors pulled that I want to use for my pattern, and just like in my example I showed you, I'm going to go with a rainbow pattern. You want to color a nice, thick, waxy amount of crayon on your paper. That's how it'll transfer. So no white should be showing. It should be really kind of thick and waxy. You could do your stripes up and down. I decided to do my stripes diagonally, and I'm doing this rainbow pattern to add a variety of color, and that's a word we're going to use a lot for this project. Variety means many, different, and one way I'm using variety for this project is in the color. All right, I'm going to keep adding my stripes of color until my entire page is filled. All right, so I have finished filling in my paper with color from the crayon. I made sure it was nice and thick and waxy when I put it on, and now I'm ready to begin my drawing. I'm going to take the other half of my paper and lay it on top, and we're going to start drawing some 3D houses. Now, we're going to follow pretty much the same steps for each house, but you're going to create variety and differences in your houses by changing the size or the shape a bit, and any patterns and designs that you add to your houses can definitely make them unique and different and add variety. So I'm going to figure out where I'd like to start first. Now, we're going to start by making a house like maybe you have in the past, using a square or a rectangle and then putting a triangle top on that. And when I'm doing this, I am pressing pretty good after I have an idea of my shape so that that crayon can transfer onto my paper. You can take a little peek. I wouldn't move your paper all the way off, but you can see it kind of even sticks. It's transferring onto that white paper there. And to make it 3D, I'm going to add a line out from the top, a line out from the bottom of the roof, a diagonal line that matches that diagonal line there, and a line down and connect. Okay. Now, to add variety, my next house, I could do a taller rectangular house. Add my roof, add the lines that go out, 1, 2, diagonal, line down, and connect. So there's one way that I added variety. I changed the size and I changed the shape that I started with. I can also add variety by the details and patterns that I add to my houses. So maybe on this one I put the door over here and a big window here. Maybe there's a pattern going across the roof here. And you can have fun with these houses. They don't need to look realistic. They can be kind of little fantasy houses. And then this one, maybe the door is more rounded. I've filled my paper with my houses. I've thought about different ways to make variety, changing the size or even the shape of the house that I start with, adding patterns and the details on the house. I made sure that I colored in some areas solid with my pencil so that the color will transfer. I still have some open area here, so I'm going to add some other details, maybe some trees or plants and things into my little village here, the little neighborhood of houses. For the trees, I just start with a Y and then add branches from there. Add smaller Ys and other little branches. And like we said before, this does not have to be realistic. You can kind of have some fun with the details you add and the shapes that they are. They don't have to be extremely realistic. All right, I'm going to continue to add little details to make my picture a bit more interesting. Okay, I have filled my paper with some other design elements here. I put some trees, some bushes, some flowers to really fill the white space because I want as much color to transfer over as I can. Now that I'm done, I can peel this off and reveal the colorful village that I created. If you'd like, you can make a little border for this using the crayons again, or if you want to use markers or other coloring tools that you have. Here I just did a little marker outline for my little village. All right, I can't wait to see your finished projects.